The replicators were highly advanced robotic machines which were capable of reproducing themselves indefinitely by consuming all available resources close to them. Let's find out a little bit more about these malevolent machines right after this. Replicators were created by an android called Reese that was created on a human world at an unspecified time in the past. Reese had a childish-like nature and was feared by the natives. Without having anyone around, she decided to create her own toys, the Replicators. The population of the planet began fearing the Replicators and Reese even more, and that is why she began training them to protect her and themselves. This sealed the fate of the planet and its inhabitants, because the Replicators started the process of reproduction. With more and more replicators being created, Reese herself began to lose control over them, which resulted in the destruction of the civilization. In order to find new raw materials, the replicators abandoned Reese and left her alone on the planet. She felt abandoned and guilty, and went to sleep, only to be later discovered by the SG-1 and brought to Earth, where she was shot. At some point in time, they managed to get to the Ida galaxy, which was home to the Asgard. It is presumed that the Asgard themselves brought some of the surviving blocks from their original homeworld to investigate. Once brought together, the blocks began to replicate quickly, infesting the ship and overwhelming the Asgard. The replicators took control over the ship and headed for the Ida galaxy. However, the Asgard decided to blow up the ship. Some of the replicator blocks survived and managed to get to a planet. Without any raw materials, they decided to deactivate themselves. Eventually, another Asgard expedition explored the planet and found the replicator blocks. Presuming that they had been created in their own galaxy, they began investigation. During that, the replicators reactivated themselves and began assimilating Asgard technology. Given the fact they had experience with Asgard tech before, they managed to spread through the Ida galaxy very quickly. The replicators became a plague, swiping through the galaxy and destroying everything in their path. As a result, the Asgard replicator war started. At some point, the replicators began taking over Asgard vessels, and all tactics the Asgard used proved to be ineffective. Every time the Asgard started to develop new technologies to stop them, the replicators only became even more powerful. In desperation, the Asgard asked the people of Earth for help. Major Samantha Carter was sent there to help, with her coming up with the idea to lure them away from the Asgard homeworld by sending the most advanced ship the Asgard ever built away on remote control. The replicators immediately followed the ship, which was then self-destroyed, taking the replicators with them. Even after the android Reese was discovered by the Tauri, the war effort did not change. Since the Asgard could not find a weakness, they decided to come up with a plan to contain them. They triggered an activation signal, and the entirety of the replicators went to the planet of Hala, where a time dilation field was activated, which was meant to be used as a way to trap them indefinitely. However, the android Reese was discovered by the replicators, who then created their own human form. The first of these intelligent replicators managed to reprogram the Asgard time dilation device and boosted the creation of new replicators. Again, the Asgard asked SG-1 for their help. After convincing the replicator 5th to betray his kind, the time dilation device was activated and the replicators were trapped. The Asgard, however, realized that it was not a victory, since it was projected that the replicators would eventually reach the device and deactivate it. The decision was made to collapse the sun of Hala into a black hole by increasing the gravity on its surface. Supreme Commander Thor was dispatched to make sure everything works out. However, he met Teal'c and Major Samantha Carter, who needed his help. As they were awaiting the end of the replicators, Thor's ship detected that the replicators formed into a ship and had the time dilation device to counter the black hole's effect. Before fully getting away, the replicators took Carter with them. On board the ship, she realizes that they are led by human form replicator 5th, who now just hates her and SG-1 for betraying him. Because of that, he leads the replicators to the new Asgard homeworld Orilla, where his ship gets blown up by the Asgard. However, some of the replicator blocks survive and land on the planet. They start to consume the neutrinium on the planet in order to create new human form replicators. Thor heads for Earth in order to save Jack O'Neill, who downloaded ancient knowledge from the repository into his mind that potentially includes a device that can destroy the replicators. This replicator disruptor cannon separates the link between the individual replicator pieces. Fifth realizes that Carter will never love him, and takes everything that is left of his kin to flee the planet. So the replicators were not destroyed, and Fifth had enough neutrinium to create a replicator. Oh god. See what I did there? Yeah, I'm heading off, no worries. Soon after Replicator's creation, she leaves Fifth and heads for the Milky Way, where she enlists the help of Real Carter, claiming that the Replicators had discovered a way to counter the Replicator disruptor. This, however, was a lie, and Replicator used the weapon to destroy Fifth, who just arrived in orbit with his ship. She then used Carter to develop immunity against this weapon and escaped through the Stargate, ultimately taking command over the Replicators. Not much time passed and the Replicators began their invasion of the Milky Way galaxy. Their first target was the Gold Empire, with taking over ships and entire planets. A Replicator-controlled ship then encountered SG-1, and they managed to kidnap Dr. Daniel Jackson. Replicator then started to probe his mind, disguising herself as the ancient Omar Sala. Her goal was to find as much ancient knowledge as possible. Eventually, she succeeded and found what she was looking for, the only weapon that could destroy all replicators, which was located on Dakara. So this is why she took her massive attack fleet and launched an attack. Not only did they attack Dakara, but also the SGC. Trying to prevent the Tari from figuring out how the Dakara weapon works, Replicator ordered some of her ships down on the surface and launched a ground invasion. Real Carter and her father Jacob Carter, together with Baal, calibrated the weapon, and additionally they got more time thanks to Dr. Daniel Jackson, who sacrificed his life. Modifying the gate network to dial every gate in the Milky Way galaxy gave them the ability to wipe the replicators out in the entire galaxy. However, the threat was not gone yet. In 2007, the Odyssey was launched in the Altaran home galaxy, where SG-1 looked for the so-called Ark of Truth. Together with them was a guy called James Merrick, who worked for the IOA. He used the Asgard core on the Odyssey to create replicators, who not only were immune to the anti-replicator gun, but also knew everything about the Odyssey. He claimed them to be the only way possible to defeat the Ori if the Ark of Truth wouldn't be found. Whilst Merrick claimed the situation was under control, the crew of the Odyssey got quickly overwhelmed by the replicators, and the only way to get the replicator self-destruct code was for Colonel Mitchell to beat up a now replicator-controlled Merrick, who then revealed the code was on the other side of the crystal used to create them. So the replicator threat was ended, with the Azuran replicators finding their demise in 2008. Like already mentioned, replicators were composed out of small blocks, which include many so-called Karen pathways, which is an energy particle used to hold the blocks together. The only effective weapons aside from the ARGs were the projectile-based weapons of the Tari, and since the Asgard heavily relied on energy weapons, they just needed to find one who was dumb enough. Replicators by nature look to consume the most advanced technology, often even being capable of making it work better. Even Asgard ships or Goa'uld ships that are under the control of replicators performed well beyond their capabilities. Usually, replicators won't attack if not threatened, however this behavior changes when a human form replicator is around. Although all replicators were connected, they still were capable of independent behavior. What do you think about the replicators? Are they scary or simply another bad guy? Let me know in the comments section below what other content you would like to see. If you want to support the channel, make sure to check out the Patreon page in the description below. Patrons get some awesome perks. With all that said, stay healthy and safe. German Trekkie out.